That being said,
Or that anime with that Craven money.
well, that being said, I would like to see what Kakao has to say when it comes to assessing why Madam Web flopped.
Oh,
Because
the critics hate it. Critics hate it, dude. And they're out to get Sony. And Venom, the critics hated it, but audiences love that shit. So we know we're actually making good movies. They're great movies, but the well is tainted now because critics have told everyone that they're bad, even though they're not.
so Craven came out early December and was the lowest debut for a Sony released Marvel movie, and
Bro, people didn't know about it. You got to release it again.
and
It'll make you more $1 billion.
these are catastrophic results, coming off of also Venom: The Last Dance being the lowest grossing entry in the series. And yeah, while talking about how that's been going, the Sony Pictures CEO said, "Let's touch on Madam Web for a moment. It underperformed in theaters because the press just crucified it. It's not a bad film. It did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided they didn't want us making these films out of Craven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by critics and the press for some reason."
I'm going to hold up my hand for a second. It did well on Netflix. Are you talking about the same Netflix that is specifically making movies in which people announce their actions out loud so that people not actually watching the movie and are in a different room can follow it along because they're not paying attention?
That would be the story that came out this week. Yep, that's the one. Also,
do you remember Lawrence of Arabia on cell phones?
yep.
Do you remember that fucking nonsense?
I sure do. But I'm also inclined to imagine that said Sony Pictures CEO here was probably the same individual or involved with the decision to re-release Morbius after the memes kicked in.
Oh, man. Yeah, no. So he has to be like, these movies are great.
You know,
these movies are great.
And all of the marketing decisions that went into Madam Web, helicopter and all, you know, were, I'm sure, signed off, you know.
Bro, she leaves the movie. She walks off the set of the movie to go to a different, even worse movie. It's wild.
So, you know, this logic is brought to you by the same thought process as fucking Pepsi.
You know what I love about social media?
Mm-hmm.
Like, genuinely love? You had to see shit like New Coke to understand that people running companies are dumb as shit. You had to see disasters that were like the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen in your entire life to be like, wow, people running this shit must be dumb as fuck. Now, the people running companies just go and talk out loud, and you're like, wow, this is a dumb bitch motherfucker here. Holy shit.
You get to,
look at this dumbass.
You get to hear it from the horse's mouth. Shout outs to this skeet. I'd like a Pepsi, please. Is Coke okay? No. Pepsi was enjoyed by many tertiary Spider-Man characters in Madam Web 2024 and played a pivotal role in defeating Ezekiel Sims, ultimately doing what several automobile collisions could not. For that, Pepsi has my loyalty.
So me and Paige rewatched the Pepsi scene in Madam Web.
Yeah, you
just
did.
Like a week or two ago.
Yeah, you did.
Because we were blown away at how weird it is. Because someone hands her a Pepsi and she doesn't hold it right for it to be an ad. And she doesn't open it and she doesn't drink it.
She doesn't rotate it towards the camera?
No. It's super weird. It's super weird.
Okay. But
like she doesn't drink it.
But maybe you could get away with just like showing part of the colors if the sign is then going to murder the villain, right? If it's going to have a much bigger one early on. Because lest we forget, for example, Snakes on a Plane, right? He presents the evidence in the beginning of a crushed up Red Bull can in a little Ziploc bag, right? But, and it's like, well, that's a crushed up can, though. You can't really clearly, you know, I mean, it's not in its pristine condition. That doesn't matter because not too long afterwards, there's a wide shot of a camera with the TV surround with Red Bull sitting on top of and to the sides of the TV, and then they zoom in and eventually close in on the frame. So, if there's a better product shot coming later on, then you don't have to worry about the incorrect one.
So I have linked you a trailer for Madam Web, the Pepsi trailer, in which somebody supercut all the times that Madam Web is handed a Pepsi and then awkwardly struggles to open the Pepsi on camera before giving up and not opening up the Pepsi and not drinking it. And it is fucking weird. It was so strange. It stood out to us so clearly that it looks like she doesn't know how to open a can of Pepsi.
Shout outs to this trailer for zooming in on her hands the entire time. That's pretty amazing. Wow, there's so many. Holy shit. We're on like 7 now. Oh my god.
And she does not know how to open up a Pepsi. It's weird, right? Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, that's super weird. It kind of reminds me of like beer commercials. At least in Canada, you're not allowed to drink it. So everyone's just kind of holding it and smiling and talking.
Yeah, but they pour the fucking beer.
You're allowed to pour it. That is true. But if you're holding a can or if you're holding something else that contains it, you cannot actually consume it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Well, you know what? Craven deserves a chance. He's right.
No. I learned something really genuinely insane about all these not Spider-Man movies. The deal with Marvel allows them to have Tom Holland in these movies.
Oh my god.
And they just decided to not do that.
Oh my god. It's got to be the money though. It's got to be a financial.
It might be.
That
but
that feels prohibitively expensive.
But they don't. They were absolutely allowed to have Tom Holland and Spider-Man in these movies.
Well, it is a new deal because before Marvel couldn't use him, but once the Homecoming thing started and they were like, okay, he's part of this now. Well, I imagine they would have re-signed an agreement that would.
Oh, I'm being informed by chat that none of the Spider-Men want to work with Sony. So they would have had to get a new Spider-Man.
Well,
that's too many Spider-Men.
I mean, look, the Fox Marvel universe had the decency to go out with a bang, and here they kept it going. They got a meme or two out of it.
They should have had Willem Dafoe play Spider-Man.
Okay, cook. You can cook.
But he's in high school.
and nobody knows better. Nobody can tell.
Mm-hmm. Play it completely clean.
Got it. You got there.
I think there's a possibility that Willem Dafoe would think that was super awesome and totally go for it. I think there's a realistic possibility that he would have been like, yeah, let's do it.
You don't have to wear any goblin makeup or outfit, but
so someone in the chat says you'd not even de-age him with CGI. I don't know if you know this, but Willem Dafoe only appeared in the new Spider-Man movie as Green Goblin under the condition that he refused to be de-aged in any way via makeup, by CG, anything. And Alfred Molina is, I am not getting up there as the Dr. Octopus unless you de-age the shit out of me with CG and makeup.
Yeah. I remember hearing something about a condition for him. Yeah. Fantastic. Good casting. Good stuff. I like that. High school, just no one's reacting to it at all. That'd be perfect.
Because me and Paige were talking about how much we love casting 35-year-old dudes and chicks as high school students in old teen dramas and how fucking funny it is.
I mean,
it's so fucking funny.
It was weird in catching that in Twin Peaks. But that's basically what I haven't seen it, but isn't that also what Euphoria is? Is people?
I don't know Euphoria either.
I think it's people in their 30s, kind of being high school kids.
That's fucking great, dude. I love it.
Speaking of great casting, Jason Momoa to play Lobo.
See, that's great.
In Supergirl.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Seems like a role that the actual person Jason Momoa would really, really enjoy doing.
Perfect casting job right there. That is Professor Xavier level. Like
way better than fucking Aquaman.
Yes, 1,000,000%. Yeah, I'd say like Xavier, Tony Stark, are like the standout, like absolute perfect casting jobs over the years, and like this is right up there. This is great.
I recently read a little story factoid about the casting process for Xavier with Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Is when they went to him and they went to him to be like, can you please be Charles Xavier? And they handed him an X-Men comic. He looked at them and said, why am I on the cover of this comic book?
Shit. It's great. Yeah, and also the second James Gunn movie is going to be Supergirl, and I guess this is going to be a Supergirl movie with Lobo in it, so fuck yeah, whatever the fuck that is. I hope he's getting after Santa Claus and just
doing all his stupid Lobo shit.
Doing his stupid Lobo shit for the majority of the movie. Yes, exactly. Solid.